Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have probably my favorite series of this YouTube channel. It is my top 10 best-selling discs of the month. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Chris. I am the co-owner of a disc golf store called Disc Zone, which is located in Santa Cruz, California. Been doing this for about a year and a half, and I started this series maybe about 6-7 months ago. Kind of stoked to keep this series running, give you guys some insight into what a small disc golf store owner sells in a month. Without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Starting in at number 10, we have the Eclipse Wave. Interestingly enough, I recently just restocked on a bunch of waves, including the Eclipse ones. And I think these were especially popular because they're a tad bit more stable than the typical wave. I'm not sure if it's because when they mold this disc, the parting line is slightly higher, if the glow plastic itself just makes it a little bit more stable. But overall, that's typically what I've noticed with the regular waves and the Color Glow, which were the brick and mortar special edition waves as well. Those were especially stable. But overall, it is a disc I definitely recommended to people as well. But yeah, overall, pretty great disc, versatile because it's in a lot of different plastic types and you can get them in all different types of stability. But stoked to see this in the number 10 spot. Getting into disc number 9, we have a disc from MVP. It is the Neutron Orbital. And funny enough, I believe I mentioned this in last month's video as well. The Orbital was something I didn't really stock at first. It was a disc I stocked probably over a year after opening the shop. I had realized MVP was probably one of the more popular manufacturers in this area for my shop. So I decided to expand, and after a couple people mentioned the Orbital to me in store, I figured I might as well stock up on them. And funny enough, when I first stocked the Orbital, they were extremely popular. They sold out pretty quickly. And I'm not sure if it's because of certain orbitals like this that are super swirly, but it seems like I've been getting a lot of them that have very cool colorways. Also, the flight numbers are very amateur and beginner friendly. Or if you're a little bit of an intermediate, you can put it on a lot of hyzer, flip it up and have it drift to the right. Or it could be a good roller disc. They're especially pretty flat, so you probably go a long ways if you put it on a little bit of cut. Regardless, it is definitely a very popular disc, and I'm very stoked to see this in my top 10 in the 9 spot. Hopefully it'll stay there for months to come. Getting into disc number 8, we have the Innova Halo Star Mamba. Always a fan favorite, it seems like. This is another version of the MVP Orbital. It seems like Innova Halo Plastic has been extremely popular ever since I opened up shop. They have very cool designs, and the Halo Plastic makes it look a lot cooler, but also is a little bit more stable, a little bit more durable so that it won't beat up as quick as other plastics. It's just the AM beginner-friendly distance driver that a lot of people like for the weekend warrior that likes getting a lot of distance, a lot of glide without trying that hard. The Halo Mamba is probably your go-to. Stoked to see this in the list in the number 8 spot. Getting into disc number 7, we have the Neutron Detour. So this is a disc that people have actually been asking me personally about at my store. Since we're a shop located near De La Vega, which is a heavily wooded course, you need to keep a lot of discs straight and just very neutral flying. A lot of people will come in and tell me that their buzz isn't working or the hex is a little bit too stable. I recommend them this disc, and although I don't bag it currently, it was a disc I bagged for a long time. The Detour is definitely a good disc if you want to throw it for higher arm speeds. You can throw on a little bit of hyzer, it'll flip up and drift slowly to the right. It won't burn over to the right. And if you're an AM or intermediate beginner player looking to get a little bit more glide out of your disc, you should pick up a Detour. Detour, definitely a very good understable mid-range if you're looking for that type of slot. So that was disc number 7 in this list. Getting into disc number 6 in this list, we have a new disc, which is the Neutron Turbulence. And this is specifically the special edition version from Streamline Discs. This is a disc that Manny, Thomas, and I reviewed in a review video last month. And honestly, my first impression of the Neutron Turbulence was a little different than what I expected. It was definitely a disc with a little bit more glide and a lot more forward push. And that could be because I throw pretty flat or barely slight hyzer. Manny, Thomas, and I still got a good amount of distance out of it. It was kind of like a headwind volt, honestly. You could rely on it to go straight with a reliable fade. It's a very good disc if you want to throw stock shots where you know you want to throw 300 feet and not go any farther. You could throw this hard, have it go straight, fade a little bit. I mean, Manny threw it, I believe, 360, 70 feet, just throwing it really hard. That's probably pushing the limits of this disc. I would say it's probably very comfortable for sidearm as well. We didn't throw any sidearms in the video, but it is very comfortable. Flies straight with a little bit of fade at the end. The thumb track is very comfortable in the hand. And honestly, based on the flight numbers, it was a lot more popular than I expected as well, because typically stuff that's very overstable is unusable for people with just your typical arm speed. But I think this disc is a good utility disc for flick approaches, for backhand stock hyzers, for backhand flexes where you need a disc to pan slowly to the right and then finish hard to the left. Overall, a great disc, but I believe I still have a few left on my site. So if you want to check one out at www.disczone.com. Getting into the top 5 in this list, we have the Halo Star Destroyer from Innova. Arguably, if not the most popular distance driver of all time. And the Halo plastic just makes it look that much sicker. The stamp is cool. And the profile of most of these Halo Star Destroyers is, like, in my opinion, one of the best. It's very flat, a little bit of gumminess, and it'll get a flight that's not like ridiculously overstable comparable to other runs of Destroyer. In my opinion, one of the better runs of Destroyers. There's nothing else that really needs to be said about this disc. It's very popular, and I think it will continue to be popular. The Destroyer is not going anywhere, and I think it'll be a staple in many people's bags for years to come. Getting into disc number 4 in this list, it is the Discraft ESP Zone. So recently I restocked maybe about 20 or 30 of these at my shop. For some reason, people were just totally stoked and maybe were interested in the swirly colorways, but found that the zones were really popular. Funny enough, the reason why I say that I'm surprised that this is in the top 10 list is because I don't think it's been in the top 10 list before. Zones were kind of a disc that were popular, but in a bunch of different plastic combos. So the popularity is split up. So some people like Z or ESP or Fly Die or Tour Series zones. If you haven't checked out the new Adam Hammis 2025 Tour Series, highly recommend it. I just restocked that on my site. But so that's one reason. So preferences of plastic type. And the second reason is zones just typically weren't like super popular at my shop for some reason. I've felt that people gravitated more towards either a Toro or towards just overstable mid-ranges. I feel like people will gravitate towards the overstable mids rather than the overstable approach discs because they feel like it does the same job. However, I think that overstable 4 speeds will fly different than overstable 5 speeds. Overstable 4 speeds, you can get to push a lot straighter, feel a little bit more comfortable in the hand for flicks. Even for backhands, it just feels a lot more controllable, while the overstable 5 speed will typically get a little bit more distance and have a more pronounced fade, especially if you're just starting out. Overall, the Zone is probably one of the, if not the most popular approach disc of all time. So it's no surprise that it makes this list finally. If you want to check one out, you can check one out on my site. Getting into disc number 3 in this list, to no surprise, it is the Fused Buzzsaw. This disc has been in my top 10, if not has made my top 5 ever since it released. This disc is extremely popularized by the new fused pattern from Discraft, new technology where it combines ESP and Z plastic. And honestly, recently I've been noticing that this plastic, you can comment down below if I'm right or wrong, is not only ESP. I've also noticed that it may be some sparkle or maybe titanium plastic. I'm not fully certain on this, but I've noticed new edition of the fused plastic, which is the Scorch, that the bottom of the disc has a little bit of sparkle or is just different than ESP. Comment down below if you've noticed that as well. But it is basically their ESP plastic, which is their opaque plastic, fused to their Z plastic. And they fuse it in this cool pattern. And I'm assuming they're gonna start doing that for more of their discs in the future. Super popular, feels great in the hand. And what I've noticed is that the Buzzsaw and the new Fused Scorch have a little bit more glide than the typical stock run, especially for the Buzz. The Scorch is a little bit more stable than the stock run, but still has a lot of push and glide. A great new piece of technology that Discraft has made. I'm assuming it's gonna be popular for a very long time, and I'm very happy to have these in stock. But if you haven't checked one out, I highly recommend you do. but that is disc number 3 in this list. Getting into disc number 2 in this list, we have the Neutron Soft Glitch. So this disc has been in my top 10 almost every single month. It is the hybrid catch disc that everyone loves. It is a disc that is usable by all skill levels, whether you're just starting out or you're an advanced player that's played for many decades. It's a fun disc to warm up. It's a great disc to learn how to play. It's a disc that's most similar to the Frisbee you may have used on the beach or in the park growing up. Based on all those reasons, it is extremely popular, and I feel like will always be popular. If you haven't tried a Neutron Soft Glitch, or if you're in need of a new one, highly recommend you check one out. It's a cool disc to learn how to play disc golf, 1, and 2, it's a cool disc to maybe spark some fun into your disc golf game. But that was disc number 2 in this list. Getting into the number 1 best-selling disc at my store for the month of July, it is the Neutron Trail. Every single month, the Neutron Trail has for sure made the top 3. As of last month, actually it might have been 4th, but the special edition Fission Trail took its spot in 1st. This month, the Neutron Trail reclaims its spot at the top. It's a disc that everybody that comes into my shop will say the same thing. I like the Trail because it's 10 speed, but it goes as far as my 12 speeds. There's definitely varying stabilities within the Trail though. The flatter ones are typically a little bit more overstable. The domey ones have a lot more glide and more understability. So there's been a couple of people that have come in that say that it's a little bit more overstable or a little bit more understable than they were thinking. So whenever you're checking out a Trail, if you see that it's a little bit more domey, that one is probably a little bit more understable, has a lot more glide. So if you're a little bit of a lower arm speed player, that might be suited towards you. If you're looking for a more stable Trail, want a more stable finish, I would look for one that's a little bit flatter. There's very few that I've ever seen that are really board flat, and I've heard that those board flat ones are a really stable run of Trail. Regardless, that versatility really helps the popularity of the Trail. It's kind of a unique mold. There's not many distance drivers with the -1-1 slot. The only disc I can think of is the DGA Rogue. But yeah, I fully expected the Trail to be near the top of this list, and to no surprise it is. That kind of does it for this video. Those are my top 10 best-selling discs at my shop. For those of you interested in checking out any discs, you can check them out at www.disczone.com. I have 2 important pieces of news. Number 1, we now have pre-owned discs on my site. So what I mean by pre-owned is they're essentially used discs, but some of them may be new. They were just pre-owned by someone, but then they didn't end up throwing them. And so I got a bunch of used discs on the site now. So you can check them out on my website. There's Neutron Hexes, there is Destroyers, there's a bunch of stuff on the site if you're interested in getting pre-owned discs for a cheap price. For discs as little as $4.99, you could check one out in the pre-owned section. Also, the second important news item is that we now have collectibles on the website. And so what I mean by that is we'll have discs like this Color Glow Champion Toro that's flat top. It has the Air Force stamp. This is a highly sought after stamp. So we have discs like that. We have old discs, PFN 11-time Champion Eagle that's in very good condition. We have those discs and everything in between. I'm gonna try to add to that section as we continue to grow our store. And the reason we've been able to add these pre-owned sections and these collectible sections is because of the support of you guys. Without the support of you, none of this would be possible. I really appreciate all the support over this past 1.5 years of me owning this store. And since starting this YouTube channel, it's been amazing. And essentially with your guys' support, I want to give back to you guys and provide a cool experience with my store, with my website, and with what you can get from me. Also, if you have any ideas that you want me to implement for my store, feel free to comment down below. I'm always open to advice, and I'm always looking to improve the store. With that being said, that kind of does it for this video. Thanks again for watching, guys. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.